My way is in the sand, flowing between the shingle and the dune. The summer rain rains on my life, on me, my life, harrying, fleeing, to its beginning, to its end. Who may tell the tale of the old man? A voice comes to one in the dark. Imagine, to one on his back in the dark. You were born on an Easter Friday after long labor. Yes, I remember. You first saw the light and cried at the close of the day, when in darkness Christ at the 9th hour cried and died. You first saw the light in the room you most likely were conceived in. The big bow window looked west to the mountains, mainly west. For being bow, it looked also a little south and a little north, necessarily. A little south to more mountain, and a little north to foothill and plain. My memories begin on the eve of my birth, under the table, when my father gave a dinner party and my mother presided. the fairy tales of mead ended. So say your prayers now and go to bed. Your prayers before the lamps start to sing behind the larches. Here at these knees of stone. Then to bye-bye on the bones. You are alone in the garden. Your mother is in the kitchen making ready for afternoon tea with Mrs. Coot, making the wafer thin bread and butter. From behind a bush, you watch Mrs. Coot arrive, a small, thin, sour woman. Your mother answers her saying, he is playing in the garden. You climb to near the top of a great fir. You sit a little, listening to all the sounds. Then throw yourself off. The great boughs break your fall. The needle. You lie a little with your face to the ground. Then climb the tree again. Your mother answers Mrs. Coot again, saying, he has been a very naughty boy. Stand at the tip of the high board, high above the sea. In it, your father's upturned face, upturned to you. You look down to the loved, trusted face. He calls to you to jump. He calls, be a brave boy. The red, round face, the thick mustache, the graying hair, the swell sways it under and sways it up again. The far call again. Be a brave boy. Many eyes upon you from the water and from the bathing place. No, they are no more than hills. They raise themselves gently, faintly blue, out of the confused plain. It was there, somewhere, he was born, in a fine house of loving parents. Their slopes are covered with ling and firs, its hot yellow bells, better known as gorse. The hammers of the stone cutters ring all day like bells. A road still carriageable climbs over the high moorland. It cuts across vast turf bogs 1,000 feet above sea level, 2,000 if you prefer. It leads to nothing anymore. None ever pass this way but beauty spot hogs and fanatical trampers. Under its heather mask, the quag allures, with an allurement not all mortals can resist. Then it swallows them up, or the mist comes down. It is here one would lie down, in a hollow bedded with dry heather, and fall asleep for the last time on an afternoon in the sun, head down among the minute life of stems and bells, and fast fall asleep. Fast farewell to charming things. I remember. That was I. That was I. Then. spasm, tired of my darling's red sputum from the Portobello private nursing home, its secret things, and toil to the crest of the surge of the steep, perilous bridge, and lapse down blankly under the scream of the hoarding, round the bright, stiff banner of the hoarding, into a black west, throttled with clouds. Above the mansions, the algum trees, the mountains, my skull, sullenly, clot of anger, skewered aloft, strangled in the gang of the wind, bites like a dog against its chastisement.
You wouldn't have something for the ladies' plate, sir. I was given Flash Harry.
Flash Harry? That cart horse!
The sport of kings is our passion. The dogs, too. We have no political opinions, simply, limply Republican. But we also have a soft spot for the Windsors, the Hanoverians, I forget, the Hohenzollerns, is it? Nothing human is foreign to us once we have digested the racing news. Perhaps that also is the fault of my mood, and my chronic inability to understand a phrase like the Irish people, or to imagine that it ever gave a fart in its corduroys for any form of art whatsoever, whether before the Union or after.
What am I to do now but follow his trace over the fields and hedges?
Redeem the surrogate goodbyes, the sheet a stream in your hand, who have no more for the land, and the glass unmisted above your eyes. his vote was cast. I am not of the big world, I am of the little world. With regard to the disposal of these my body, mind, and soul, I desire that they be burnt and placed in a paper bag and brought to the Abbey Theatre, Lower Abbey Street, Dublin, and without pause into what the great and good Lord Chesterfield calls the necessary house, where their happiest hours have been spent, on the right as one goes down into the pit, and I desire that the chain be there pulled upon them, if possible, during the performance of a piece, the whole to be executed without ceremony or show of grief. By closing time, the body, mind, and soul of Murphy were freely distributed over the floor of the saloon, and before another dayspring grey into the earth had been swept away with the sand, the beer, the butts, the glass, the matches, the spits, the vomit.
Au contraire.
I have changed refuge so often in the course of my route that now I can't tell between dens and ruins. But there was never any city but the one. It is true, you often move along in a dream. Houses and factories darken the air, trams go by, and under your feet, wet from the grass, there are suddenly cobbles. I only know the city of my childhood. I must have seen the other, but unbelieving. They also gave me the lowdown on God. They told me I depended on him in the last analysis. They had it on the reliable authority of his agents at Bally, I forget what, this being the place, according to them, where the inestimable gift of life had been rammed down my gullet. They gave me courses on love, on intelligence, most precious, most precious. They also taught me to count and even to reason. Some of this rubbish has come in handy on occasions, I don't deny it, on occasions which would never have arisen if they had left me in peace. I use it still to scratch my ass with. In a last attempt to obtain relief, he moved from where they had been so long together to a single room on the far bank. From its single window, he could see the downstream extremity of the Isle of Swan. Day after day, he could be seen slowly pacing the islet, hour after hour, in his long black coat, no matter what the weather, and old world Latin Quarter hat. At the tip, he would always pause to dwell on the receding stream. How injoyous it is, its two arms conflowed and flowed united on. Then turn, and his slow steps retrace. With never a word exchanged, they grew to be as one. Saying again, if you do not teach me, I shall not learn. Saying again, there is a last, even of last times of begging, last times of loving, of knowing, not knowing, pretending, a last, even of last times of saying, if you do not love me, I shall not be loved. If I do not love you, I shall not love. back down to the wharf with the night bag and the old green greatcoat your father left you trailing the ground, and the white hair pouring out down from under the hat, till that time came on down, neither right nor left, not a curse for the old scenes, the old names, not a thought in your head, only get back on board and away to hell out of it and never come back. Or was that another time? All that another time? Was there ever any other time but that time? Away to hell out of it all and never come back. Further peculiarities of this soul landscape were the temperature was warm. Beneath what the waste rose and fell, all was silent. Above what the sky fell and rose, what was rooted to the spot. And sometimes Watt understood all, and sometimes he understood much, and sometimes he understood little. sometimes he understood nothing, as now. Of myself all my life, I think I had been going to my mother with the purpose of establishing our relations on a less precarious footing. And when I was with her, and I often succeeded, I left her without having done anything. And when I was no longer with her, I was again on my way to her, hoping to do better the next time. And when I appeared to give up and to busy myself with something else, or with nothing at all anymore, in reality, I was hatching my plans and seeking the way to her house.
spiritually a year of profound gloom and indigence, until that memorable night in March at the end of the jetty in the howling wind, never to be forgotten, when suddenly I saw the whole thing, the vision at last. This, I fancy, is what I have chiefly to record this evening, against the day when my work will be done, and perhaps no place left in my memory, warm or cold, for the miracle that... for the fire that set it alight. What I suddenly saw then was this, that the belief I had been going on all my life, namely... great granite rocks, the foam flying up in the light of the lighthouse, and the wind gauge spinning like a propeller, clear to me at last that the dark I have always struggled to keep under is in reality my most... unshatterable association, until my dissolution of storm and night with the light of the understanding of the fire. My face in her presence, and my hand on her. We lay there without moving, but under us all moved, and moved us gently, up and down, and from side to side. Past midnight, never knew such silence. The earth might be uninhabited.
What a story, says Malloy, speaking for them all. God send I don't make up balls of it. And it seemed to me all the more important to get out of this forest with all possible speed, as I would very soon be powerless to get out of anything whatsoever, were it but a bower. Flat on my belly, using my crutches like grapnels, I plunged them ahead of me into the undergrowth, and when I felt they had a hold, I pulled myself forward with an effort of the wrists, for my wrists were still quite strong, fortunately, in spite of my decrepitude, though all swollen and racked by a kind of chronic arthritis, probably. That, then, briefly, is how I went about it. But there was always present to my mind, which was still working, if laboriously, the need to turn, to keep on turning, and every 3 or 4 jerks I altered course, which permitted me to describe, if not a circle, at least a great polygon. Perfection is not of this world, and to hope that I was going forward in a straight line in spite of everything, day and night, towards my mother. And true enough, the day came when the forest ended, and I saw the light of the plain, exactly as I had foreseen. I longed to go back into the forest. Oh, not a real longing. Malloy could stay where he happened to be. But let us leave these morbid matters and get on with that of my demise. In 2 or 3 days, if I remember rightly. Then it will be all over with the Murphys, Merciers, Malloys, Morans, and Malones. Unless it goes on beyond the grave.
I shall not watch myself die. That would spoil everything. Have I watched myself live? Have I ever complained? And why rejoice now? I am content, necessarily, but not to the point of clapping my hands. I am satisfied. There, I have enough. I am repaid. I need nothing more. Let me say before I go any further that I forgive nobody. I wish them all an atrocious life, and then the fires and ice of hell, and in the execrable generations to come, an honored name.
All these Murphys, Malloys, and Malones do not fool me. They have made me waste my time, suffer for nothing, speak of them when, in order to stop speaking, I should have spoken of me, and of me alone.
Perhaps it's a dream, all a dream. That would surprise me. I wake in the silence, never sleep again. It will be I, or dream again. Dream of the silence, the dream silence, full of murmurs. I don't know, that's all words, never wake. They're going to fail me, I know that well. They're going to abandon me, you must go on, that's all I know. To be the silence, for a moment, a good few moments. What will be mine, the lasting one that didn't last, but still lasts. It will be I, you must go on. I can't go on. You must go on. I can't go on. I'll go on.
in time. It's abominable. When? One day, is that not enough for you? One day like any other day? One day he went dumb, one day I went blind, one day we'll go deaf, one day we were born, one day we shall die. The same day, the same second. Is that not enough for you? They give birth astride of a grave. The light gleams an instant, then it's night once more.
My feet! My feet! Help me!
Was I sleeping while the others suffered? Am I sleeping now? Tomorrow when I wake, I think I do. What shall I say of today? That with Estragon, my friend, at this place until the fall of night, I waited for Godot? That Pozzo passed with his carrier and that he spoke to us? Probably. But in all that, what truth will there be? He'll know nothing. He'll tell me about the blows he received, and I'll give him a carrot. Astride of a grave and a difficult birth, down in the hole, lingeringly, the gravedigger puts on the forceps. We have time to grow old. The air is full of our cries. But habit is a great deadener. At me too someone is looking. Of me too someone is saying, he is sleeping. He knows nothing. Let him sleep on. I can't go on. What have I said?
always were, deep down. We're fond of one another. We're sorry for one another. But there it is. There's nothing we can do for one another.
Finished. It's finished. Nearly finished. It must be nearly finished.
Sometimes you must learn to suffer better than them if you want them to weary of punishing you one day. I say to myself sometimes, you must be there better than that if you want them to let you go one day. But I feel too old and too far to form new habits. Good. It'll never end. I'll never go. Then one day, suddenly it ends, it changes. I don't understand. It dies or it's me. I don't understand that either. I ask the words that remain. Sleeping, waking, morning, evening. They have nothing to say. I open the door of the cell and go. I am so bowed I only see my feet if I open my eyes. And between my legs, a little trail of black dust. I say to myself that the earth is extinguished, though I never saw it lit. It's easy going. When I fall, I'll weep for happiness.
Would I had let you sleep on! Oh, yes. If only I could bear to be alone. I mean, prattle away with not a soldier here. Not that I flatter myself you hear much. No, Willie, God forbid. Days, perhaps, and you hear nothing. But days, too, when you answer. So that I may say at all times, even when you do not answer and perhaps hear nothing, something of this is being heard. I am not merely talking to myself, that is, in the wilderness, a thing I could never bear to do for any length of time. Well, that is what enables me to go on. Go on talking, that is. Whereas if you were to die, the old style, or go away and leave me, then what would I do? What could I do? All day long, I mean between the bell for waking and the bell for sleep, simply gaze before me with compressed lips. Not another word as long as I drew breath. Nothing to break the silence of this place. Save possibly now and then, every now and then, a sigh into my looking glass. For a brief gale of laughter should I happen to hear the old joke again.
I love the word. Words had been my only loves, not many. Nothing stirring, faintly stirring. 30,000 nights of ghosts beyond, beyond that black beyond. Ghost light, ghost nights, ghost rooms, ghost graves, ghost. He all but said, ghost loved ones, the dead and gone, the dying and the going, from the word go, the word be gone. Such is the light going now.
This man that I saw in the vision, the man that came out of the vision, is healing. I was standing in my garden. Suddenly, the Spirit came, removed from my eyes scales. I was praying for America and I was praying for Israel. Nothing unusual. Suddenly behind me, starting behind my back, going in the form of an arrow, for hundreds of thousands of people. And I turned around and I was stunned with what I saw. This was not just a mere dream, but this was a vision.
As hope expires of her ever reappearing, she reappears. At first sight, little changed. It is evening. It will always be evening, when not night. She emerges at the fringe of the pastures and sets forward across them, slowly, with fluttering step, as if wanting mass. Suddenly still, and as suddenly on her way again. At this rate, it will be black night before she reaches home. Home. At the same instant, night. When not evening, night. But time slows all this while, suits its speed to hers, whence from beginning to end of her course, no loss, or but little of twilight, a matter at most of a candle or two. Bearing south as best she can, she casts toward the moon to come her long black shadow. They come at last to the door, holding a great key. Head bowed, she stands exposed, facing east. All dead still. All, save hanging from her finger, the old key, polished by use. Trembling, it faintly shimmers in the light of the moon. Bit by bit, an old man and child. In the dim void, bit by bit, an old man and child. Any other would do as ill. Hand in hand with equal plod they go. In the free hands, no, free, empty hands. Backs turned, both bowed, with equal plod they go. Slowly, with never a pause, plod on and never recede. No how less, no how worse, no how naught, no how on. Said, no how on. Moments for nothing, now as always, Time was never, and time is over. Reckoning closed, and story ended. There we are. There I am. That's enough.